Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 17 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas, that is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very curious about has all to do with Rey's lineage, her bloodline, exactly who her parents really are, and how it really ties all directly into the center of the story. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams aims to make this by far the most darkest Star Wars film there is out of the entire Skywalker saga, which really speaks volumes. It really shows how ambitious J.J. is trying to be. Do I believe that he's going to make this movie darker than that of Episode 3? Honestly, I highly doubt it. I feel like you can't really get darker than Episode 3 of what, actually happened in that movie, but the one mysterious aspect of the sequel trilogy always had to do with, of course, Rey's identity, and everything to do with Rey's parents, right? Her mother and her father, and where they fall into the story. Now, what's really intriguing about Episode 9 is that, of course, one of the moments in the second and first act of Episode 9 is that, of course, shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Rey and Kylo Ren are said to be fighting on the second Death Star wreckage on the ocean moon of Kef Bir, where it's explained that in between their saber duel, Kylo Ren keeps delivering dialogue about Rey's parents, where he is trying to unveil the truth to Rey. It's said that one of the sequences in the second act of the film, during their saber battle, it's said that Kylo Ren tells her the truth about who her grandfather really is, and that he is Darth Sidious. It's said that during this time, Rey is said to tap into the dark side because of Kylo Ren telling her this certain truth, where eventually Rey learns that her father is indeed the son of Darth Sidious, who was called by a character named Achi, who was actually killed by Achi. It's said that in the first act of the film, Rey's father and mother are teased in the form of a flashback, where once Rey touches a Sith dagger, she begins to see visions of her parents' murder by Achi, where there are hints of Rey's father being the son of Darth Sidious. It's explained that Achi wanted to destroy the Palpatine family along with Rey, who was the granddaughter of Sidious, who was hidden away and grew up to be a legend within the First Order by Snoke. The reason why Snoke knew about the girl was because Palpatine was controlling Snoke all along and made Rey the legend as the descendant of Palpatine, where it's said that's the exact reason why Kylo says, "What girl?" in The Force Awakens when choking that First Order officer. Rey's father is said to go by the name of Yan, Y-A-H-N, however, was not a Sith Lord in any way, shape, or form, but was very powerful through the ways of the Force and the dark side, and collected Sith relics as well as Jedi lore. Yan was said to grow up on the world of Coruscant, where Rey was raised, which is why Rey seems to have a Coruscanti dialect in the sequel trilogy. Now, Rey's father is said to have more answers in the upcoming novelization due in March of 2020 next year, and that Yan will even have his own origin story in the form of a comic series in 2020 to expand the sequel trilogy by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, the reason the dagger holds a connection to Yan's death is because the Sith dagger calls to Rey, just like the lightsaber as it holds a part of her bloodline's past. It's explained that the reason the Skywalker saber called to Rey will be partially reworked by J.J. Abrams to make things more sense in the third act of the film. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in case you guys did not know, this also echoes Star Wars Legends material. In case you guys did not know, in Star Wars Legends, Palpatine did indeed have a son. I believe his name was Triclops or something like that. It was a really weird name. And for those of you who think Yan is a very strange name, Triclops is even stranger. So that was in the expanded universe. They went over Palpatine's son in the EU. You can see where J.J. Abrams is really drawing all of this from. So everything related to Episode 9 here of Rey's parents, Rey's father, it's a very interesting piece here, because we do know that in The Rise of Skywalker, they will be answering many questions related to Rey's parents. Turns out that Rey's parents were killed by, of course, a person named Achi or Ochi. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but it's O-C-H-I. Very, bland, basic name for this character that killed Rey's parents through the Sith dagger. Now, Palpatine's son, going by the name of Yan, Y-A-H-N, was killed either sometime, well before The Force Awakens or during. We're not quite sure exactly just yet. But one thing that we know for certain about Episode 9 is the fact that in The Rise of Skywalker, alright, is that there's going to be a segment in the film in which we do get to see visions of Rey's parents. So that's the one thing that J.J. Abrams actually changed, is that he wanted to actually dial it down on the visions and the flashbacks of Rey's parents, down to only 1 or 2, when she touches the Sith dagger and when Kylo Ren meets with her on the second Death Star. So we're going to finally be able to see exactly what Palpatine's son really looks like, and as well as, you know, who Palpatine's son was with, that of course being Rey's mother. Hence why Rey is the granddaughter of Darth Sidious. Once again, there's a lot of Legends content making its way into The Rise of Skywalker, for better or worse. You know, in Legends, Palpatine's son had the strangest name, going by the name of Triclops. But in this movie, it's actually going to go by the name of Yan, which honestly is way better. So, Palpatine explains all of this later on in the third act of Episode 9, everything there is about Rey's parents, the murder of her parents, and exactly where that leaves her. Obviously, Palpatine doesn't care about his son and how they all, you know, perished and how they died. You know, everybody affiliated with him is because if you guys actually read the expanded universe, there's a moment in the EU, in Star Wars Legends, where Palpatine killed his entire family, and that included his father, his siblings, etc., on board of a starship. So it comes to no surprise that Palpatine has no remorse at all whatsoever about what happened to his son and Rey's mother by the hands of Achi. Now, Achi is said to be a person who wanted to destroy the Palpatine bloodline once and for all, and was actually looking for Rey. It's one of the main reasons as to why Zori Bliss hides Rey on the world of Jakku. In fact, that ship that takes off, that drops Rey off, is not her parents. It's actually Zori Bliss taking off from that planet and dropping Rey off on that world. Now, the reason as to why they dropped her off on Jakku is it's the last place that the remnants of the Empire, or the origins of the First Order, whatever have you, or Palpatine's Sith loyalists would even look for Rey. And that's actually a very clever move, because they put her, you know, with Unkar Plutt and all these, you know, scavengers and all and like. So, Episode 9 is going to explain Rey's father. It's actually said that he is indeed the son of Palpatine, and that's going to get its own origin story sometime in 2020 in the form of a comic. Once again, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are starting up a new expanded universe that's going to expand everything related to The Rise of Skywalker and everything that comes before the sequel trilogy, basically in between Episodes 6 and 7, telling the entire story of Palpatine and his family and the Rey bloodline and how that connects to Palpatine. It's going to be a very interesting road to see exactly how Disney's going to handle this new EU that's going to create a library's worth of content similar to what happened in the 1990s leading into the early 2000s before Disney finally bought out Lucasfilm in the early 2010s back in 2012. So with that being said, the last piece I just want to tap into here real quick is the Sith dagger. Now, the Sith dagger, we've seen this thing numerous times in TV spots and trailers and like, where you do see her using it in that lightsaber duel where she's inside of Kylo Ren's chambers. So she holds on to the dagger, and the reason as to why she has these visions of her parents at least 1 or 2 times is because she has the dagger on her for a majority of the movie. So that's one thing to look forward to, is that yes, we will finally be able to see exactly what Palpatine's son looks like. Of course, not a Sith Lord, not a true dark side warrior per se with a lightsaber or anything like that, but just affiliated with the Palpatine bloodline. And it almost reminds me of how, you know, you look at Darth Vader, right? And then you look at Luke Skywalker. Obviously, he's not going to be, you know, a Sith Lord or anything like that. That's exactly the same scenario with Palpatine's son, essentially. So, very interesting story. I cannot wait to see exactly how they handle that. I do have a lot of criticisms, I will admit, with this movie so far, based on all the decisions that Disney and Lucasfilm made and all the changes that they did during the months of August, September, and October of this year. And we'll have to wait and see exactly how everything will be executed on the big screen come December 19th. So yeah, with that being said, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about Rey's father, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone. from night to morning.